Hello, we are live. Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Deal Architect Live. I am your host this evening, only for this evening, Lisa Pride, and I have the honor tonight of introducing everyone to my real estate coach and mentor, Mr. Eric Parrish. He is the founder of the Wolf Pact and also the Two Comma Movement. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Hello, hello. Glad to be here. Glad to launch this podcast. Let's go.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, first off, I want to let everybody know, in your words, what is the Wolf Pack?
Well, the Wolfpack is a real estate mastermind community. Currently have over 800 members nationwide. It's a community of real estate investors and home buyers collaborating together to create long-term wealth.
Okay. And what was the motivation for you to create the Wolf Pack? I know this is your baby. What prompted the birth?
Well, it's a couple of things. Number one, I've been in the business 30 years, 33 years to be exact. At least I think that it give or take a year or two. And in my journey, I've made all the mistakes one could possibly make. I had my first seven-figure year back in 2007, right before the crash. And shortly after that, was diagnosed with cancer. Didn't think I was gonna make it, and in the process, lost everything. So that coupled with the fact that I want to make sure I want to get back to the community and help people avoid the mistakes that I made so they can decrease that learning curve and creating some wealth with real estate like we all know we can. So that's the first thing. The second thing, in all my time, I've coached, educated. I was an instructor at one of the largest real estate schools here in Texas, educated thousands of individuals, coached hundreds of individuals over decades. And I can honestly say that it's very few individuals that actually did anything in real estate, got in the game, for lack of a better word. And that's frustrating. So I wanted to create an environment, a business model, a collaborative environment, and a platform that we call the Two Comma Movement in a community where the small investor could get into the game, level the playing field, that anybody, no matter what you had or what you don't have, can get in the game and create long-term wealth uh, and create a real estate portfolio, regardless of where you are. So here we are. That's what started this whole thing.
Okay. Now you said even the smallest investor. So how small of an investment? Coach, I ain't got no money.
How about zero? And
Zero,
look,
zero,
and if you
zero.
like me, when I first started, it was sub-zero.
Okay.
Sub-zero meaning your net worth is negative.
Okay.
So you start with nothing because the truth is, we're all investors, whether you realize it or not. You're investing time or money. So as long as if you don't have any money, then you got time. If you don't have any time, then you got money. So, and we probably got a lot of time and a little bit of money. So whatever it is, we can invest that. So even though I didn't have any money, I had sub-zero economics. I had some time. So I invested that time, and that means that anybody else can come in and plug in and invest time as well. So zero is the answer. That's a long answer to your question.
So you said you taught classes, but you also mentored people. So you mean to tell me these people spent money on classes and spent money on coaching and mentoring and still didn't get in the game?
Oh, well, I personally never, that's a good question. I never felt comfortable charging the fees and things like that
Okay.
until I cracked the code on how a higher number of success stories would be created. So, but many people in the Wolf Pack, and we have over 800 members, have spent 10, 20, 30, 40, and even 50,000 on mentoring and didn't do a single deal. They just didn't. And not to say that, those things aren't worth it. I'm not putting on the mentor programs at all. It's just that you have to be recognized. Hey, are you ready to make that type of investment and get a return on the investment, because that's what you want. Hey, if I make any investment we make, however small or large, we want to get a return of the investment first. We want to get a return on that investment. So yes, because we got many people that made that investment and got no return of or on at all.
And that's not that far fetched. There are people, me being one of them, that pay for degrees that they aren't using. So I don't want people to think that's unusual, because
Right.
everybody has paid for a gym membership,
Yeah.
paid for a
Absolutely.
college class that they never
Absolutely. We all do
used.
it.
So it's the same
I've
thing.
done it many times myself. Many times, spent tens, hundreds of $1,000s on education and time and
Mhm.
money. So it's not uncommon at all.
Okay. All right. So I don't have any money, but hey, I got 20 hours a week. What can I do? What can I do to get into real estate? Which
Well,
way do I go?
that's a good question. You come in and you want, hey, what's the yellow brick road? How do I get started? We have a 5-step model, simple steps, 5 steps to get in. And of course, the first thing would be remiss if the first step wasn't to help you get the right mindset. You got to
Mhm.
come in, get that investor mindset. And as we said, you bring the investor to work and leave the consumer at home. Because many times we come in thinking like a consumer, totally oblivious to the fact that we are investors and we need to be the investor, at least think like the investor when we're in this game. So that's the first thing we'll help you with. Second thing, and just know that we got 5 steps, and we use something we call the Wolfpack method. We collaborate. That's all you need to know. The cornerstone, one of our 5 values in the cornerstone, is collaboration. We get together to reduce the risk, number 1. Number 2, to increase our capacity to do more and or bigger deals. So you come in with you be prepared to get the mindset you need, and then get the education, because that's one thing I learned over the years, 30 years plus. There's no shortage of information. It used to be the information highway, the super highway, but now that's not the case anymore. We got computers, devices, smartphones, tablets, thing everywhere, YouTube, Google, all this. It's now the information galaxy. You
Mhm.
open up the device and you get a fire hose of information. Anything you could possibly want to know is already there. So it's not about the education that's important. It's not about the information. It's about all the nooks and crannies around that information. You need coaching, which helps you get out of your own way. You need mentorship, which helps you improve the results that you're getting, and training, which helps you apply that knowledge or that education that you got. So you come into the Wolfpack or any other thing, get get everything you need, and then you schedule a free presentation, a free action plan session, as we call it. One of the deal architects, because that's one of our roles. We have 5 different roles in the Wolfpack. You schedule a strategy session with a deal architect, and then they will help you put together an action plan to get
Okay.
you started in the game.
So, sir, what is a deal architect? That's the name. That's the name of this show. But everybody
Deal
doesn't know
Architect
what that
Live.
is. What is a
Well,
deal
uh,
architect?
well, in short, a deal architect, don't get confused by the word, the terminology. That's we use that terminology. It's really just another word for an entrepreneur.
Okay.
In this case, a real estate entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur is a deal architect in their own space. So let's get that straight first. But let's define it how we define it. We define it as an individual, male or female, because we have female deal architects, and Lisa's one of them.
Mhm.
Is an individual that is skilled at gathering and organizing resources in such a and structuring deals or campaigns with what we call optimal risk and maximum profit potential for all stakeholders. So I know how to put deals together so everybody can win, in short. So that's what a deal architect is.
Okay. All right. So I just kind of want to get that out the way. So that's the first step. You come in, you get the information, you schedule an action plan. What's next? What do I do next?
And okay, we're going to give you that action plan session. In the process, you're going to learn what the Wolfpack method is. The Wolfpack method is we've broken the deal that we're all trying to put together or get involved in into 5 separate roles. First role is a deal architect. Second role is a wholesaler. We're all familiar with that term. Then we got the landlord. We call it the mortgage ready landlord, or MRL for short. And that's another thing about every business you get in. We got all these acronyms and all these things vernacular we have to learn. So I'm trying to keep that to a minimum. Then we got the joint venture cash partner. We call it JVC. And then lastly, which is going to be surprising to most, the home buyer partner, aka the tenant.
Okay.
And yes, before you ask, even the tenant makes money as well in our ecosystem. So when we say everybody wins, we mean it. Everybody, no matter where you start, everybody comes on the playing field. We have the same goal to create long-term wealth. We're just starting in different places. Okay. So that's the next step. You decide which role and we help you with that makes best sense for you to start at, because you can play them all. It doesn't matter to us, but most of us need to start one. And then with those roles come 18 different revenue streams that we can start with. So we help you choose a role and at least one revenue stream to start with. Then we show you how to systematically add revenue streams as you go until you get them all, or as many as you'd like to get.
Okay. Now I have a couple of questions. Well, I have one question that says, what's the tenant's role? How does the tenant make money?
Okay. The tenant role is simply, let's talk about what they bring to the table. The tenant brings 2 things to the table. They bring cash flow. They service the debt. Make no mistake about it. They service the debt. They bring cash flow, and they bring future leveraging power. That means most of the home buyers or the tenants that come in, we all have a optimization plan. We're optimizing our personal economies, which means a large part is our credit, meaning our leveraging power. So they're optimizing some things, tweaking this, tweaking that. And by the way, Lisa's one of our credit specialists as well. And once they get in position to go out there and get that financing, and that they bring that to the table as well. So as I said, they bring cash flow and future leveraging power to the table. Now, how do they get paid? Well, a couple of ways. Remember, we got 18 revenue streams, and we have a playbook with about 12 strategies that we use as a baseline to structure our deals. And 2 of those strategies are designed specifically for the home buyer partner. One is our owner financing program. The other is our Home Now program, which is a lease option program, lease purchase program. And if they participate or collaborate in a deal, then we'll simply a couple of ways we pay them. There's several ways to do it, but I'll just mention a couple. Is they're not tenants to us, they're partners. So we redistribute that property management fee to them. So they get paid to manage the project. Okay. They just happen to be living in it. So that's one way. The second way we tend to pay them is we equity share. They get a part of the equity, and they tend to use their equity once we sell a property or once we get financing something. They use their equity to, for the down payment and closing costs, stuff like that. They usually do that to get that first property on their belt, and then they may rent that one out and move to the next one. Again, that's just a couple of ways we do it, but you get the idea.
Okay, let's go through the other roles a little bit also. So we talked about the deal architect, and we've done the bookends. So let's talk about the 3 positions. The 3 positions in the middle, the bookends. The beginning,
tomatoes and lettuce.
Now we got the bread. Now we need the sandwich, the tomatoes, and the lettuce. So you mentioned the joint venture or JVC partner.
JVC, the joint venture cash partner.
Okay.
They bring capital to the table. That means they're bringing cash.
Okay.
They may not qualify for finance, stuff like that, but they got some cash. That may come from a self-directed IRA, solo 401k, something like that. It may come from a line of credit, or it may come from their cash reserves, stocks and stuff like that, liquid cash reserve. But that's their role. Bring the capital to the table, and for that we structure the deal so they can win. Maybe they get maybe they're operating as a lender, maybe they're operating as a equity partner. Many ways that they get compensated as well. Like we say, everybody wins, but what's important to know about them is they bring the cash to the table.
Okay. And then you talked about a mortgage ready landlord. What does that mean exactly?
Mortgage ready landlord. This means that these are highly qualified individuals that they can step into Wells Fargo and Chase Bank, the largest banks or the smallest banks, whatever, and qualify for conventional financing. This means loans that can be sold in the secondary market to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, all of those guys. So they have to be, those are the most stringent underwriting guidelines available out there. So they can qualify for that. And for that reason, they can bring leveraging power to the table. These individuals can come in and qualify for as we're building our portfolio, they can qualify for a rental property. And it doesn't even have to be rented out. They're just that highly qualified. So, and not just one, but they can do multiple properties every year. And it's up to the deal architects, since that's all 5 of the roles. Oh, it's one other one with wholesaler. We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to the deal architect to structure the deals. Because all we're doing is, hey, there's a spread in every deal, and we need to chop it up in an optimal way to structure where there's just almost, sometimes we have almost no risk in the deal. And so we got the risk low, but we're still paying great returns. I mean, above average returns, spectacular returns. So, but that's incumbent upon the deal architect to do that. But they bring the leveraging power to the table, and they can get that financing where we can recapture our capital and redeploy it over and over again.
Okay. And then the fifth role would be the wholesaler.
Okay, the wholesaler. The wholesaler, they bring properties under contract to the table, and they bring other members to the table. You know how you go get your cash buyers and you go get your properties, and the wholesaler brings together. I think everybody's kind of familiar with what the wholesaler does, and it's no different here. So the wholesalers bring the properties to the table. And so that means that everybody brings something of value to the table. It may be cash flow, it may be cash, it may be leveraging power, it may be the expertise and skill to put it all together. It may be the property, but everybody brings something to the table. And it makes it simpler and easier and safer for us to do this, because hey, we just got to bring our little piece, and then we rely on our team to bring the rest.
Okay, I just want to back up a little bit. Excuse me. You mentioned the wholesaler. There may be some people listening in that have heard that term, but they don't really know what a wholesaler is. Right. And I want to go into that a little bit, because wholesaling is probably one of the best ways to enter real estate when you don't have any money, right? So
absolutely.
Can you explain a little bit about what wholesaling is? What
a wholesaler does is, I think it's important to distinguish between what we call a bird dog or a property scout and a wholesaler. The bird dog or the property scouts, they go out and get information on the property that a motivated seller, and they bring that back. But the wholesaler actually has the skill and the ability to go in and negotiate a price or terms, which is what makes this a deal. They get a discounted price or terms if it's creative, and they get it on the contract. So they're selling a contract they assign it to whoever they're going to sell it to for a fee. So the bird dog or the property scout sells information, whereas the wholesaler sells contracts or purchase agreements, and they've already locked in the value, and they get a fee. And that fee tends to range anywhere from $2,500 to up to 10, 20, 15, 25, 50,000, depending on the size of the project and how good negotiators they are.
Okay, so I like to put things into realistic pictures. Mm-hmm. So I found out that my cousin, I'm not gonna use, I usually come up with crazy names and stuff. But I found out, Ray now. I found out that my cousin is about to lose his mama house if he don't sell it, because he ain't paid the taxes or whatever the case may be. I'm just gonna give that information to my boy over here who I knows buys houses. In
Right.
that instance, I'm a bird dog,
Exactly.
right?
That's
My
not as
boy,
valuable. Right.
yeah, my boy who I gave the information to, who's actually gonna put a deal together, make my cousin an offer,
Right.
is the wholesaler.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's important to understand that each one of those roles, in all of these roles, you know, we're adding value to people. You talk about that seller that needed help, cousin, whoever it may be. They need help out of a situation that they would lose everything. We come in with a solution and solve that. We solve a problem. We rebuild communities. We rebuild the lives, and we rebuild sticks and bricks. So that's something to be proud about in both of those roles, and all of these roles that we
Mhm.
play. It's important to point that out. That's just a hallmark moment I had to step in with.
Hallmark moment. Yeah, because I like to tell people there's really no reason for anyone to ever go into foreclosure or lose their home in a
Not at
tax
all.
sale, but because people don't know that these options are out there, I think
Absolutely.
that happens a lot in our community.
Mhm.
So you said the first thing is about getting information. I want to ask you a little bit about mindset, and I have a statement here from Stephen Mendiola. It says, when a person is ready for opportunity, opportunity will present itself.
Indeed.
So, whatever religion you belong to, Christianity talks about renewing the mind.
Mhm.
Um, at every level, you have to kind of get your mind wrapped around it. So, during the course of the next couple of weeks, people will meet all of our other deal architects that we have in the group,
Mhm.
and I will just say that arguably on paper, I'm probably the most educated in the group, but
Yeah,
I'm
you
the,
the,
I'm
you
the
the, you the
baby.
biggest you the biggest egghead for sure.
Yeah, I'm the egghead, but I'm the baby. Yeah, right. Of the group,
Mhm.
because I had to do a total mind shift, even being in real estate and moving in from you were talking about consumer versus
Mhm.
investor.
Indeed.
Elaborate on the difference between a consumer mindset and an investor mindset.
Okay, yeah, I can go all day on this, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. But the the first thing we have to do, the consumer is in all of us. Don't get me wrong. Now we're not talking about getting rid of the consumer. There's just it's a consumer and investor in us all. There's a time when you need to wake up the investor. There's a time you need to wake up the consumer. What's the problem is that most the investor in us has been pushed and laying dormant inside of us, and we're not ever letting them out, and he or she belongs out when it comes to business, especially real estate. So the consumer wants to, when it comes to economics, they want to spend, but they want to save, but they as much as they can, they want whatever they're trying to buy, but they want to spend as less as possible to get it, and nothing if they can get by. Okay, that's the consumer. But the investor, it's entirely different. The two, in terms of thinking, aren't even in the same solar system. The investor is always looking for the next investment to invest time or money into. So I'm always looking for something, because I know that if I don't invest in something, there's no way I can expect a return. Remember, I talked about a return of investment first and then a return on investment. But if I'm looking to save and not spend anything, then it's totally illogical and absolutely absurd for me to expect a return. So that's the difference between the two. The investor is always looking for that next investment. In fact, I'm looking for different things, different projects to invest in. And remember, we're investing time and money. I don't need any money at all to be a real estate investor. I just need to think about whatever it is I'm doing differently than the consumer does. And that's the greatest challenge we'll all face, to making that transition from consumer to investor, whether you realize it or not. We always say that's where the coaching comes in. You need tremendous help, consistent help, to get out of your own way and stay out of your own way. And
Is
that's
that
your
a
greatest challenge you face.
is that a instant mindset
Oh
change?
no,
Does that take
instant.
some
It
time?
could be, but unfortunately, it's not. It's a lifetime journey. That's why the second step in the our process, our 5-step process, is to either get a coach, a mentor, or be one. Depends on where you are in your journey and what skills, what you have to offer or need. But you need to be one or get one. And even myself, we coach and mentor each other. So we do both. But you gotta have that. It's forever. Always. It's a constant battle. We're in a war. Fight one battle at a time.
Right.
Most of them are you against you, me against you. Yourself.
So going back to the wolf pack itself, what are some of the benefits of being, we mentioned some of it, the mentoring, but even apart from that, even in the informal relationships that are within the group, what are some of the benefits of being in a community such as the wolf pack, preferably the wolf pack, but such as the wolf pack?
Well, there are a lot of intangible benefits, of course, and tangible. We've been talking about tangible, intangible benefits. We have to be successful. Most of the time, we need to get around people thinking like we are, like-minded individuals, being around the community. Because again, our greatest challenge is changing the way we're thinking. That's probably 80% of the game right there. Change the way you think. And the way you change the way you're thinking, you call it reprogramming, reconditioning, establishing a new blueprint, whatever you want to call it. One of the best ways to do that is you need consistent exposure to that type of energy and that type of, environment and that type of thinking. Consistent exposure. And that's why we created the environment. We get together every single day for 30 minutes in the mornings, and every Tuesday evening here will be here as well. And there'll be other events because some of the deal architects will be, teaching, training and stuff like that. And these are free events because we want people to get in the mindset, the right mindset. So I knew when we started this, that was needed. So that's one of the main benefits. And that's probably, all you really need to get over the hurdle that we all face. And secondly, once you plug in mentally, you just collaborate. You just find somebody you build relationships and you start doing deals one at a time. You start plugging into deals and then you start creating deals. You can take it as far as or as you want to go to any level you want to go, short or long.
Okay. And in addition to that, I like to also add different perspectives, right? Because one person may see something in a deal that you don't see. No matter how long you've been doing something, sometimes a fresh set of eyes can come up with solutions or, just a new way to do things.
Yeah, absolutely. You
got to catch something that you overlooked, right?
Exactly. I think I always tell people the most dangerous words in the dictionary is I already know that. That's absurd. At any given time, depending on what you're thinking about, what space, where your head is, you only see certain things. That's why you need that fresh perspective, like you say, somebody else looking outside of your narrowness, and they can spark ideas and help you structure deal. Even sometimes it happens to me all the time. I'm structuring deal, somebody come in completely new, they don't even know much, but they've learned enough, but they just happen to be thinking about something that sparked something in mind. I say, man, why didn't I see that? I should have saw that. Well, I just wasn't ready right then. So you always got to have people around you that can help you get outside of your own little world.
Okay. All right. So I want to go back to the roles because that's the important thing. So let me come up with a job for myself. I'm an engineer. Not me, but I'm an engineer. I don't want to go knock down walls. I don't want to flip any houses.
You don't have time for that.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't want to break my nails, but I want to be involved in real estate. What can I do? I got 80 grand disposable cash that I can deal with. I got another 200,000 in my retirement account that the stock market is, not really being very kind to. What can I do in real estate?
run into that all the time. That's an individual engineers. We help them determine which role that they want to play. And it's usually dictated strongly by the circumstance. You're an engineer, you're working, and you happen to like what you're doing, you're highly skilled at what you're doing. You're an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur. And you don't have the inclination or the time to really be active. But you can be semi-active, not passive. See, passive, we got to distinguish between passive and what we call semi-active. Passive is when you just give your money to somebody manage you and let them do what they do. That's more like syndications. And that's not, not to say that we won't do that or aren't doing that somewhere, but that's not really what our focus is. The smaller investor tends to, do that later, more advanced later. But this person talking about here, the engineer, the most suitable role for them is the MRL. They have the income and they can qualify for finance, so they can bring leveraging power, and the JVC. You have some capital. Ideally, you got at least 50 grand to work. Ideally, doesn't always take that much, and this is discretionary capital, not meaning you don't need it for rent and things like that. This is money you want to grow and impact your economy over the long term. So let's get clear about that. But you, the engineer, with some capital, you're behind in terms of where you'd like to be and where you plan to end up. You notice that, on my present course, I'm probably not going to make it. So I need to get some real estate into my portfolio. So the best role in the Wolfpack method probably for you is the MRL and the JVC, because you qualify for both. Every MRL also qualifies as a JVC because they have to have some capital, even if we don't use it, to qualify for financing. So that's your role. Now it's up to the deal architect that you will ultimately end up working with, and it could be a number of us, to structure something to meet your needs. You tell them, hey, what do I want to be in 3 years or 5 years? Then we drill that down to 12 months, 6 months. Then we'll structure projects with that fit your risk profile. And many times, again, we remove almost all the risk. We have the ability to do that, and can get you the types of returns safely and simpler that you need. So, make a long story short, it's already long. Let me make it short. You'll be ideally fit as a MRL JVC, and then we come up with a plan, acquisition strategy, and an acquisition plan to start creating a portfolio for you, which is the long term, the chess game, and a few flips to generate more capital to accelerate that chess game, and that's the checker game. So we come up with a checker game and a chess game for you to execute.
So you're saying
MRL and JVC.
So you're saying the flip is checkers and the portfolio is chess?
Indeed.
Okay, so
And
what is
I knew you were listening.
What is a portfolio, sir?
A real estate portfolio. Hey, that's a accumulation of our properties, our assets, just like a stock portfolio. This is a real estate portfolio. It may consist of single family. It may consist of short-term rentals, what we call co-living, multifamily, whatever makes sense for you. We will come up with that. And no one size fits all. Let's get that straight right now. Everybody's different. And it's important that we find out what size fits you, and that this plan, this strategy that we've chosen and recommended that you've agreed to and approved will help you sleep at night. If it's keeping you up, it's not the right plan or strategy. We need to go back to the drawing board. That's very important, because that if it's keeping you up, then that has somehow exceeded your risk tolerance.
Okay, so you said keep me up at night portfolio. Does that mean I'm gonna have to be a landlord and be running over there fixing pipes and?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
We if we were to hold property, We'll have managers, we'll have a team just like everybody else. You never have to deal with that. What you have to do, and that's a good point, as a JVC or MRL, you are semi-active, you're not passive. When I say semi-active, that means at least you have approved the projects that you're involved in, that you're joint venturing on. At least you approved them. You already know what your investment criteria is, or what we call it a buy box is. And then when we submit it to you, you approve it. So you know, you didn't just throw some money in the account and say, you know, I hope you do well. Now you're going to approve it, first of all, and then you're going to look at your reports monthly or quarterly, you know, and make sure and monitor the progress, the KPIs, the key performance indicators of your portfolio or of your partnerships. That's it. That's what makes you semi-active. You know, it may take 2 hours a week, you know, 2 hours every other week to do that a month.
Mhm.
But we consider that semi-active. And other than that, you know, you're not doing anything. We have power teams out there too, people that are super skilled at what they do in their space to handle all of the groundwork.
I keep hearing you mention risk.
Mm-hmm.
You keep saying minimum risk, optimize risk. How are we doing that? What does that mean?
Okay, good. Risk. What is risk? Risk to me, I mean, I think essentially at its core is, are the odds in my favor?
Hmm.
If you believe and have faith that the odd and it's all backed up by the numbers, you know, that's all we can do. You know, it's no guarantee of the future, but it's a good indication of the future. So we got the data. See, most everything we do is mathematically, you know, broken down to the numbers. So that's what gives us that confidence to reduce that risk. But we able to, whoever is in charge of the deal should be able to show you that the numbers work, and educate you if you need it, to the point that you can see that. So if the numbers work, and that's put the odds in our favor. But how else can we? What other ways can we put the odds in our favor? And here where I'm about to throw everybody for a loop. There's two ways that we can do that. Number one, that we're good at this and collaborating. We have a large community. We work together. Everybody playing their role. So there's two distinct risk mitigating strategies that we use. Number one is, because we tend to have two or more individuals participating, partnering on practically every deal. Now you can go it alone all you want. You know, that's okay. You don't have to. Uh, uh, you have options, but we tend to have two or more people involved in each deal. That's spreading the risk. So no one individual has to shoulder all of the risk. That tends to be a major factor in what keeps people out of the game. And if they get in the game, it tends to kick them out of the game. They're not able to stay. They don't have enough staying power because they're shouldering all the risks themselves. So that's number one. We spread the risk. Number two, I'm gonna say it twice because I know it's gonna go over a lot of your heads. Number two, we do something we call reverse wholesaling. Reverse wholesaling means that we sell it first. We sell the property or the asset first, and then we go buy it or build it. Let me say that again, because I know I see all the Scooby looks out there. Like, ooh, what you talking about, Aggie? You know, so we sell it first. It means if we sell it to MRL, and sometimes we sell it twice. We sell it to MRL, then we may sell it to a home buyer partner, meaning they've already agreed to purchase this property under agreement. Then we go buy it. And let me correct that. We sell it at a higher price. Then we go buy it or build it at a lower price. You cannot get any less risk than that. It's just impossible to get any less risk than that. So that is something that's our our flagship strategy right there, reverse wholesaling. So because it's very important, we have a lot of smaller investors, and we also have a lot of newer investors. So it's extremely important. We teach day in, day out, risk first, assess the risk first, assess and address the risk first, and then the profit potential. So if we reverse wholesale, we sell it before we even buy it, and then the profit potential is still outstanding, then that's not only a great deal from a numbers perspective, it's a safe deal, more so than any other comparable project we could even dream of getting involved with. So that's what risk is, and that's how some of the ways that we reduce the risk and optimize our projects, create that optimal risk.
Okay, so if I join the wolf pack, am I held hostage? I mean, can I only do deals with the wolf pack? I mean, what if I just want to do it by myself? Because even though I know I can spread the risk out with doing with other people, I just want to fly solo.
Hey, that's just it. We have and also someone talking to us, one of the coaching students today. The wolf pack is not a company, it's a community. And the Two Comma movement is a platform. It's a message and a platform that we operate within. When it comes down to the projects or the deals, we break off into little small groups, joint venture partnerships, and get involved with them. So that means that you have to choose which deal you want to participate, and you choose who you want to participate in that deal. And if it's just you and you can take it on yourself and you want to do it yourself, by all means, doesn't bother us. Everybody, we said no one size fits all. So if you want to do it that way, you do it that way. You don't have to. You can use the traditional method. That's when you want to go solo, or the Wolfpack method. See, our slogan is together we run, alone we crawl. So if you find a way to run on your own, by all means, tell us about it so we can run with you, at least beside you as well.
So the Two Comma movement, why Two Commas, and what is that movement? I see it streaming across the bottom of the screen. What is the Two Comma movement?
Yeah, that's the website. That's our website. Go to twocommamovement.com. The Two Comma movement, two commas is, that's 1 million. It doesn't have to be 1 million, but you got to pass one to get to two. So it's two commas. But 1 million is the new 100,000. Back in the day, $100,000 was a lot of money. A little bit further back, 10,000 was a lot of money. A little bit further back, $1,000. But nowadays, you need 1 million in order to sustain and maintain the lifestyle that most of us envision for ourselves. So we need two commas. So that's one of the things. We all come up with a plan, choose a strategy to get there, to hit our two commas individually. So collectively, we want two commas individually. So we got a collective goal, but we got individual strategies to get there, but we're going to collaborate to accelerate the path and the pace.
Okay, so there are a lot of ways out there to make money. Why should I fool with real estate?
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of ways out there, but again, real estate is, because it's leveraging ability. The fact that you can leverage it and the tax ramifications, and that's the reason it is at the center of the American dream. Our entire tax system is based around it. The banking system has more faith in it than any other asset class. So these are the factors that help you optimize the risk. Because what is risk? It's about putting the odds in our favor. So why not put those things in our favor? Because no other asset class can offer those things. So it makes sense for most people. So we all know statistics. Most millionaires have either created their wealth with real estate, and most certainly it's how they're keeping it. And if that's what they're using, they feel that they need it. That's the way to create wealth. But for the average person, let's be real. Real estate is the only way we're gonna make it. And I'll conclude with that on that question.
Oh, I was about to say we're not done yet. You can't conclude.
Oh, I ain't off the hook yet.
No,
Okay.
you're not off the hook yet. I do want to let people listening know that if they do have questions, they can type them in the chat, and we will try to get those questions answered. I did see a comment earlier from Envision Marketing Agency that I just wanted to point out when we were talking earlier about people spending money on classes and courses that they don't use. This person commented, "This is amazing. I paid thousands for a guru and still don't know anything." Right? That's a scary thought. Now,
Yeah.
it may
You
not be
know,
the information, it may be user error, but
you-
it's one thing just to get.
let
And
me
back in the days, it was CDs. You got a set of CDs with
right.
all the information that you were supposed to go through. Now it's online courses.
Yeah,
Um,
let me you know speak on behalf of the gurus out there. You know, again, I'm not putting, you do have some bad apples out there. Every industry have bad apples, but but we have some really, really good, you know, gurus out there that are putting out some good information. But you know, it's a business and they have to sell this information, this education, and this mentorship, things like that, and coaching at a price that's going to be profitable. So, you know, I'm not knocking that. It's just that what I've discovered is that even the information is not enough. That's why you see such an onslaught of mentoring coming on, and the prices you see. Well, they figure you need some hand holding, but you know, and that's a mystery that I believe that the Two Comma movement and the Wolfpack can help crack, because it's not about information. We can consume all the information we want. Trust me, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I spend 2 or 3 hours consuming information every every day before most people get up. And you know, and it's strange. You know, I've learned. You know, it took me a while to understand this, or to come to this realization. That's one of the reasons why the gurus don't mind giving away a lot of free information, because they know that most people, 80%, you know, the Pareto rule, 80-20, 20% of the people will always, you know, get 80% of results, and the other 80% will scrape around with the 20 and squander it, you know, and won't get anything. And now I believe it's 90-10 because of the, you know, the way information is at our disposal now. So my point is, they know that I can put out all the information I want, and knowing if they want to do anything with it, they got to come to me. And I'm sorry, that's it. Most people can't do it, you know, can't really do anything with the information. So that's why I say I'm not knocking the information. You know, you have to be at a certain level thinking like that investor, flat out, if to be capable of taking that information and running with it. And most people are not there. That's why they need, and their biggest challenge, the biggest problem is they're in their own way. You know, it's not that we don't know what to do, we don't know how to do it. We convince ourselves that that's the problem. We
mhm.
just can't get out of our own way. We're trying to be comfortable. If it's, and one of the things that used to just blow me away, just burn me out, burn me up, I should say, is when I would give people a set of do these 7 things, and then, you know, we're going somewhere. Then they come back. I say, "Did you do the 7 things?" No, but I did 3 of them. Why didn't you do all of them? Well, I didn't feel, you know, I didn't feel comfortable doing those other ones. Well, how? And then they complain about not getting results. How can you expect to get results if you're trying to be comfortable? So, lesson number 1: get ready to do something you're not already doing now, and more than likely, it's going to be uncomfortable. And you know, T. Harv Eker had this quote that, you know, I really believe it wholeheartedly now. Comfort kills. At the very least, it kills your dreams. So get ready to be uncomfortable. You got to do something that you're not already doing, and more likely, it's going to be something that's uncomfortable, which is why we say that your biggest challenge is getting out of your own way. That's it by definition. So let me get off the soapbox on that.
Okay, so talking about getting out of your own way, personality types. I hear people say, "Oh, I just don't have the personality to do that." Now, I don't know if anybody can tell from this call, but me and Eric probably have opposite personalities. Y'all can tell by my purple hair. I'm probably a little bit more.
I'm an introvert, that's for sure.
And he's an introvert. I'm a part-time introvert. I'm introverted when I want to be, but personality types. People say, "Oh, I don't have the personality to do that. I don't have the personality to do real estate."
Well, see, it's funny. Everything you're talking about, I'm just talking to somebody about that today. You know, I'm talking to many people today, so I can see why that happens. But anyway, if anybody has faces that, it's me. We all face that. You know, cold calling, knocking doors, sending texts, calling people, driving. You know, it's something that we all just makes us our skin crawl when we say we have to do that. And cold calling is one for me. You know, people say, "Well, I can't do that." I just, well, fortunately, there are, maybe 10 or 15 different strategies in the business that fits every personality out there. So my point is, it's something that fits you. So you can get some degree of comfort in one of these campaigns where it's just not totally violating your comfort zone. It's not, you're just not out in the outhouse with no toilet paper.
Right.
So, but regardless what it is, there's going to be some discomfort, but we can ease that to some degree. So get ready to be uncomfortable. Your personality is not going to fit certain things, and we'll try to design. We'll try to take that in consideration as best we can. But you got to make an investment of time and money, and you got to sacrifice your comfort in order to get where you want to go. Bottom line.
And the phrase that keeps going through my mind right now is "get in where you fit in." And I don't think people realize there's something in real estate for almost everyone that they can participate in. You know, I started out on I'm a realtor. So I started out on the real estate side. So I talked about earlier how I'm still working on adjusting I've always been a hustler. I've always had a side hustle, something that wasn't related to whatever my corporate plantation job was. But it's a different mentality that you have to switch over to the investor mindset. And that takes time. That takes reading books. That takes listening to, motivational speakers, reading, educating. If you don't like to read, there's Audible, but there are ways that you can, get your mindset going. But back to the get in where you fit in. There's something for the introvert to do in real estate. There's something for that person that doesn't have a problem talking to anybody, but may not want to sit still and look at properties. There's something, and we mentioned the quote earlier, the opportunities will come, right? When you start opening yourself up to it, you'll look up, and it's not that they weren't there before. Your mind wasn't primed to see them.
Right.
I think that's a large part of it.
Indeed. And another thing about the Wolfpack community, the beauty of it is that we've got so many people that we can collaborate with. Hey, it's 8 of us. Y'all do that stuff I don't like to do, and let me be behind the scenes. That's me, be behind the scenes and do this right here. You can get more and more comfort in a community than you can outside of the community. Is my point for those of us who want to try to appease that personality as best we can. But it's going to be some discomfort.
Yeah, I will say our community is real good at pushing each other out there.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that.
Under the bus, side the bus, all of that, whatever you need.
It's definitely there. Just get out there.
Even if it's tough love, we're ready to give it to you.
Yeah, we definitely do the tough love thing as well. So going back to community, because I do want people to understand that it is a community. Eric, when did we meet? I don't even think it's been a year yet, has it? I feel like I've known Eric all my life.
About 20 years now,
You
I
know,
don't know
just
how I got like that, but no, it hadn't even been a year at all.
yeah,
So
I don't think it's been a year at all.
about
But you know,
7 8
just
months.
what I've learned and the different perspective I've learned to put on different glasses I've learned to wear to see things. I wouldn't have got it just, you know, going about my life as a realtor and selling my houses and then being you know, they say once you sell a house as a realtor, you're unemployed again until you
Oh,
find your
indeed.
next deal. You know,
Indeed.
so that's a part of it. Now I see some comments that I want to make sure we put up there. Yeah, be willing to be uncomfortable, be comfortable being uncomfortable. I have a question for the general audience, and it's a rhetorical question, but how comfortable is it struggling? I'd rather be uncomfortable having to talk to a couple of people I don't really want to talk to.
Yeah.
I know that discomfort. I know the struggle bus discomfort. And it's familiar, but I still don't want to be there on. And a lot of people get caught up in that. So, you know,
when all said and done, you got to do what you got to do. You got to come in prepared to do what it takes.
Mhm.
Of course, we're going to try to, we're going to try to make it as comfortable as we can. But you got to I'm going to do what it takes as long as it takes. Because one thing for sure, we're going to fall and rise together.
Right.
But one thing for sure, we're stronger together than we are apart, and we're able to spot the failures faster together than if we are on our own. And we're certainly able to recover and get back in the game a little faster. So let's play the game together is the moral of the story.
And I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but something I do want to jump back to with the Wolfpack method is the 18 way. Is it 18 or 19? Are we up to 19?
18, 18 revenue stream, real estate revenue stream.
Okay. Sir, how in the world are there 18 different ways for me to make money?
Well, we got a few minutes left, but I can really, I'm glad you asked me the question. I can answer pretty quickly. Remember, we have 5 different roles. And so the revenue streams are spread out amongst those. There's 5 for the deal architect. There's 3 for the wholesaler. 3 for the wholesaler, 2 for the 2 or 3 for each role. So when you add them all up, you got 18. And there's actually more, but those are the core ones, that we felt it was necessary to point out. And it's important to know, hey, just pick one. Let's activate that revenue stream. And then again, with the help of your coach and your mentor and your community, you can systematically, and that's the key word, systematically activate all of them, or as many as you want, over a short period of time.
Okay, so, and these are some other streams that I'm about to mention, but okay, why would me as a realtor, why would I jump into something like the Wolfpack? If I'm a lender, why would I get involved with? Why would I get involved with the Wolfpack?
Obviously, a lot of and that's a good point. We have every profession inside the Wolfpack that we possibly need: builders, real estate, mortgage, inspectors, appraisers. We got it all, and it's our job as deal architect. If we don't have it, we go get it and bring it back to the community so we can have it all in our ecosystem. But why? It makes sense. Most real estate professionals are good at what they do, but see, your profession of generating income, generating leads, selling houses, doing mortgages, doing whatever, that's the checker game. Well, you need to buy some real estate, or at least collaborate on the real estate, build a portfolio, and create the wealth game, because chess can ultimately turn into checkers, but checkers will never turn into chess. So we're stuck in the rat race. We're only good as our next deal. So as a real estate professional, I need to get involved with the community where I can start accumulating some wealth, get involved with some deals, regardless of what I have or don't have. And more importantly, why not create the deals that feed into my business? It just makes sense. That's why it doesn't make sense to do otherwise.
Right. So we're almost out of time, but I know there are a couple of our other deal architects that are we call it backstage. Do you want to quickly bring them up and we can introduce those gentlemen? Let them tell a little bit about themselves. We got the wholesale champ. The champ is here. And we got
wholesale champ, Stephen Mendiola, and we got Rodney Hamilton up in the cold Michigan area, holding it down with the flipping.
And warm.
All right.
Well, that's right.
These are other
We had enough of cold weather.
So as y'all heard me say, I'm the baby of the bunch. These are my big brothers in the real estate movement. Stephen, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself quickly.
All right. My name is Stephen Mendiola. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. We have wholesaled a little over 70 properties, flipped about 15 now, going on 16 properties. Wholesaling houses is an excellent opportunity to get into real estate. I do realize that that's just a stepping stone to get into flipping houses if you want to take that route, because we've wholesaled over $10 million worth of properties. And when I say that, it's saying that I gave away $10 million worth of properties. Now, if you would have kept that $10 million in your portfolio,
at least half of it.
Yeah, at least half of it. That's a good portfolio to have.
Exactly.
But wholesaling houses it's actually a very lucrative business, and people just build businesses doing that. So don't knock wholesaling houses, and that's the first step to getting into real estate without any money.
Okay. All right. King Rodney up there in the cold Arctic, Michigan.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We are well.
My name is Rodney Hamilton. I'm originally from, I was born in Chicago, raised in Gary, Indiana. So, I'm in Michigan now. Been doing real estate for about 22, 23 years now, real estate investing, mortgage branch owner for a while, do insurance, taxes, things of that nature. Anything that's got to do with finances and stuff like that. I knew I wanted to be in real estate investing when I sold my first house. I closed my first on my first home, and I walked away from the closing table with $26,000. It was back in July '99, which was a good month because I was born in July. So from that point on, I was like, hey, I was like, this is it. I love this business. The amount of money that you can make on just one deal was more than a lot of people had seen, in a half a year from some of the areas that I've been in. But I mean, since then, I've closed closer to 100 deals now on my own. Joined the Wolfpack through one of the other members, Kim Caldwell. I'm sure you guys will meet her soon. But she introduced me to Coach Eric, and we vibed from the beginning because we have like-minded things that we've done in our lives and places that we want to go and how we want to help the community and stuff like that. I think it's a great thing that we're collaborating. I was always that type of person, or I was always the person that did everything by myself. All the houses that I've done with myself. I bought them, I funded them, I fixed them, and I flipped them. Working in a community is so much easier because you can leverage each other's skill sets. Some of the things that you can come up with as far as creative financing, ways to find new buyers, ways to help other community members and things of that nature. I love seeing that. And like Eric was saying, you can teach people. I've been teaching people and talking to people about real estate for years, and only, I wouldn't even say 1% of the people that I talk to actually, press through and start doing real estate. So to see and to be in a group where you have like-minded individuals and saying, hey, all you got to do is spend some time right now. Spend some time in the beginning. And then we'll get into, you want to get into a deal and put a little money in and make some money here, and we can build you up. I was impressed by what the 2 commas stand for, $1 million. $1 million is the new 100,000. I remember way back when I used to want to make $10,000. Then when I made 10,000, I wanted to make 100,000. When I made 100,000, I wanted to make $1 million. Now that I made $1 million, I want to make 10 million. So you see how it goes. And sometimes you just have to be in the space with people that can show you how to get there. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that we started this. I'm glad that we're going to be helping other people that will chime in and listen to what we have to say and maybe become members and join us and follow along and be successful at it. You know, I love real estate, so let's get it going.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, so we will be here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard and 7 p.m. Eastern. As some of my members like to remind me, they say Eastern is the only time that matters, but we're going to let them slide with that. So we will be here every Tuesday. We will be covering various topics. We will be going into detail, how to do deals, how to look for deals, how to find deals. You know, we're coming at it from all these different perspectives. If anyone would like to join the Wolfpack, you see scrolling across the bottom of your screen, join the 2 Comma Movement at 2, that's spelled out, TWO, movement.com. You can go to that website. You can, depending on how you guys are watching this, if you're watching on Facebook Live, reach out to the person whose stream you're seeing. We can give you more details. And again, at that website, Coach is there. And when I say Coach, we're all coaches, but I'm talking to Mr. Eric Parrish. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing to close us out? We're a little bit over our time, but you know.
Well, yeah, this is I'm just glad we're able to be here and come together like this and spread the word as fast as we can. And you know, I end you'll find out from me, I end every conversation or every deal the same way. You know, you always need to remember, you're only one conversation away from your next deal. So let's go get it. I'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
You guys have a good evening.
See you.